Lately, you've probably seen this meme all over the place, making fun of how Krabby, one of the first Pokemon Ash Ketchum ever caught, has a higher attack stat than Eternatus, the big bad guy legendary of Generation 8. And yeah, that's true, and it seems silly, but it's actually a good thing for Eternatus. Let's break it down. Competitive Pokemon players talk about base stat total, or BST, all the time. This is basically the stat value that Pokemon has at each stat added together. And there are certain types of Pokemon or categories of Pokemon that will usually have a range of their stat totals. For example, all pseudo-legendary Pokemon, like Garchomp, Dragonite, and Tyranitar, all have a base stat total of 600. Fully evolved starter Pokemon usually have somewhere around the 525 mark, and legendary restricted Pokemon like Eternatus, Rayquaza, and Mewtwo usually sit somewhere between the 680 and 720 mark. Eternatus has 700. But why am I telling you this? Well, it's because not every Pokemon with the same stat total is as strong as the other. For example, you'd never see somebody say that Garchomp and Goodra are equally as strong or do the same things, and there's one main reason for that. It's how those 600 stats are distributed. Now, with some weird exceptions like Trick Room, usually you want your stats to be as high as possible. After all, you use them all. And that's true for every stat except special attack and attack. Because due to the way EV training works, which is how you train Pokemon for competitive play, it is way more efficient to only use attacks that use your special attack stat or your attack stat. You don't want to be double dipping in both. So, whichever one you don't use is just kind of a waste. Those stats at Eternatus attack don't do anything, they just sit there. So assuming Eternatus has 700 base stat no matter what, the less attack it has, the more points it can be using for its other more useful stats. And that's clear when you look at literally every other stat Eternatus has. I mean, this thing is absolutely massively powerful. So I guess what I'm saying is, if it means you can shoot a cannon of weird, purple, magic, energy, science stuff out of you, and it hits really, really, really hard, maybe it's okay to be physically weaker than a crab.